we solved this first problem, as I was talking to some of you already, or talking to the class already, that you can split the middle term with anyone, even if the leading coefficient is 1, but we can simply also just take what we add and subtract to, add or subtract to, and just do x plus 2 times x minus 4 because of that problem. Anyway, I could go into depth into it too much, but the next one. This is where the leading coefficient is not 1, and we started talking about this yesterday. So we're going to do several more problems like that today. But what are we multiplying to here, Riley?
25.
No, we're not multiplying to 25.
12, 7.
Well, times 7 is...
Oh, it was like 84, right?
It is 84. Not like 84, it is 84. So we're multiplying to 84 because 12 times 7, A times C, or 12 times 7, okay, is 84. And what are we adding to here, Jacob?
We're adding to 25.
Good, 25. I started doing this one. I'm going to show you the process that I went through doing this. I started going at 12 times 13. It probably wasn't the best choice to begin with, but I figured this out pretty quick. So I did 12 times 13. Or what I know that 12 plus 13 is 25, and 12 times 13, and then I started to think about those. Do I know what 12 times 13 is? No.
The medical emergency is expired. Students and staff, you can leave the rooms if you need to. The medical emergency is expired. Thank you for your cooperation. Notes 47 just directs students, so there will be students that will be late if they were late due to the bus. Please excuse them. Thank you.
Okay. Lucas here? Yeah. Good to see you, bud. Who was back? Who was 40 minutes now? Lauren. Maybe she's on the bus. Anyway, what I saw here was 12 times 13. And I know 12 times 12 is 144. So I know 12 times 13 is only going to be bigger than 144, even though I don't know exactly what it equals. I figured out, but I'm gonna just stop right there because I don't need to go any farther. So I look at that and I'm like going to say, I do 5 plus 20. And I look at that one. And I try to ask myself, would that work? I actually did one before that. I did 10 plus 15. And I know 10 plus 15 is 25. But I know 15 times 10 is 150. Yes. Okay. So then I did 5 plus 20, and that's 5 plus 20 is 100, or 5 plus 20 is 25, but 5 times 20 is 100. So I see that I'm actually getting smaller here, but so I know I'm on the right track. Okay, I see that it's getting smaller, so then I get to the point of 4 plus, what's that? 21, yes, thank you. And I know 4 times 21 is 84. Actually, Andy helped me with that, helped me along the way. I just want to make sure that it was factorable. So then I know that that is correct, so that's what I can split my middle term with. Did you need to add something?
No, I was going to say is that 12 times 13 is 156.
Okay, again, and that's fine to solve it through, and my point was, by not multiplying it, was that I don't need to multiply it because I know it's larger than 144. Because 12 times 12 is 144. I know that multiplication fact. In my brain, I don't need to go any farther. So I was just trying to let you think through my head, is to say, rationally, do I even, right offhand, yes, I could solve that, but I don't need to. So my brain says stop there in the name of math before you waste your time. The number one single back in 2005. Anyway, so I split the middle term here. It's plus 4x plus 21x plus 7. Okay? And then I look for binomials that I can factor something out of, and here I can factor out a, what's that, a 4x? And that leaves me with 3x plus 1. And then here I can factor out a 3. Excuse me, yes, a 7. It helps. A 7, and that leaves me with a 3. X plus 1. Couldn't factor out a 3 there. I was thinking ahead of myself. So we've got, then we say we know 4x is multiplying 3x plus 1, and 7 is multiplying 3x plus 1. We write this in factored form as 4x plus 7 times our 3x plus 1. So, for a second there, Austin, you told me that you didn't understand last night.
Yeah, but when I saw the side thing, we're trying to figure out how to. The thing on the side where it's shirt, and actually the number
Okay.
on what we were learning yesterday.
So today, day 2, it's just we're going to keep on practicing. We're going from a trinomial, and we're going into factored form of that trinomial. So we start with here in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, where a is greater than 1. Okay? When we do this, we learn to split the middle term. I really think it's the best way to factor these. I think it's the easiest way instead of trying to guess and check. Some people use this box method, which is kind of a method of guess and check. But I really just kind of stick with this. I stick with teaching it by splitting the middle term. Cool. So we have been practicing this. What I'd like to do, I did enough examples yesterday. Today is your job. Now, I went through that first problem, and I really wanted to get you into my brain of what I was thinking when I was doing that. And hopefully by showing you, hey, how I did 12 times 13, and that doesn't equal, I know that 144, it's going to be bigger than 144 because I know 12 times 12. That's the kind of thinking that I want you to do when you come up here to explain this problem. Okay, so I am going to be looking for volunteers to do the talking for me today. I want you to explain what we're doing. So I'm really looking for some people who are, if you're going to volunteer to come up, that you're going to think, you're going to try to explain what you were thinking as best you can. It's a hard skill. It's a hard skill to do, but it's beneficial for others to hear how you're thinking, because that might be the shortcut that saves them 5 minutes. Or maybe maybe saves 10 seconds here or there for the rest of their life, and ends up being about an hour and a half of the time that you saved them. As the great philosopher once said,
Which great one?
Mr. Sean LaPlante, he said as he was sitting thinking about this, intelligence, or excuse me, efficiency is intelligent laziness. Okay, go solve this problem.
Okay, so we had to multiply to a times c and add to b. So it would be multiplying to negative 96 and then adding to negative 4. So I just kept going through multiples of 96 and seeing if they added to negative 4. So I got 8 times negative 12 and 8 plus. Alright, let's do 8 minus 12. So that would make it 3x squared minus 12x plus 8x minus 32. And so you split down the middle, or that it's called. And it's be 3x times x minus 4.
What did you do there? Just can you explain in your words what you're doing?
The multiple is the greatest common, the greatest factor is 3x. I don't know the
Binomial 3x squared minus 12x. The greatest common factor of 3x, the greatest common factor in the binomial 3x squared minus 12x is 3x, and you factored that out.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I did. And then out of this one, I factored out 8 because that's the greatest common factor. So that left me with x minus 4. So then the answer was 3. Well, since these both are multiplying to x minus 4, then it was 3x plus 8 times x plus 4.
Okay, thank you very much. And other than maybe we have to send you to teacher school to do your handwriting on the board test.
I think it's pretty awesome.
Good work. Okay, so are there any questions that you have about this problem? Questions, statements? Pretty straightforward. Okay, so next one. 2y squared minus 9y minus 18. Not quite as hard. It does deal with negatives. So let's go ahead and do that. And for those at home, if you want to follow, you may.
Alright, so I knew I had to figure out AC, or what multiplies to AC and S to B. So that. So I made my T-chart. And then I did negative 18 times 2 and got negative 36. And then negative 9. Then I was going through the factors of negative 36 and seeing what would also equal 9. And I got 3 and negative 12. So alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the middle term with 3 and negative 12. I got 2y to the second minus y minus 12y minus 18.
Can I pause you just for a second? Because when you had A times C, you had positive 3 and negative 12, and you put negative 3 and negative 12y when you split the middle term. No worries. I could just change that one to a plus. You're good. It's fine.
Alright, so now I found terms that are alike. So I did 2y and 12, and then 3y and 18. So now,
So you can I clarify that you rearranged? So you rearranged this so it's 2y squared minus 12y plus 3y minus 18 or negative 18? Okay, and that's cool. Maybe you should, if you don't mind, writing it down that way. So if someone went to watch this, they understand what you're saying. Because I think that might get lost. And yeah, I like how Jared did that. He could have factored it out the other way also. But the way it was arranged the other way, but it's fine to factor it that way. There's no problem with that. So I'm going to give you a little extra room here.
then Now that I've got that, I found the greatest common factor of this, and it was 2y. So I have 2y in parentheses y minus 6, because 2 times minus 6 equals negative 12. I did the same for this side. I got 3 times y minus 6. So now that they're equal, I know that all I have to do is put 7. Oh, whoops. And that's my final answer.
Good. Thank you. So let's go ahead and try this next example, and I'll have one more and see if we can get a female volunteer to explain the answer. So go ahead and solve this, and you can press pause at home if you'd like. Okay, it's okay. Okay, so as we come to this, I'm asking, is anyone able to factor? Connor, are you sure?
Yeah, never mind. You said no then.
So you may have figured it out. What are we multiplying to and adding? What are we multiplying to here? Emily, what are we multiplying to?
72.
Good. What are we adding to? What?
Negative 19.
Negative 19. Okay, so what did you think on this one, Connor?
Never mind.
Did you see your mistake?
Yeah, I shouldn't have listened to Jared.
Okay. Well, what I saw is I knew it wasn't going to be. I was looking for a number that wasn't right next to each other because this is negative 19 and 72. So I was actually looking at a number. I started looking, well, 2, just so I can go through my thinking on this. I knew 2 times, what's that, 36? Excuse me. I should put that over here. 2 times 36. And then I tried to say, did 2, I know 1 has to be probably, actually they're both going to have to be negatives, aren't they? That might have been where I was making my mistake. So negative 2 and negative 36, do those add up to negative 19? No, that's negative 38. So then I go to my next one. I know 3 times 24 equals 72. So I got to do negative 3 times negative 24, and that equals negative 27. And then I've got negative 4 times 18, negative 18, and that is going to be negative 22. So I'm getting closer. Let's see, what's the next number? Does 6 go into 72?
Yeah.
So it's 6 times 12, so negative 6 times negative 12, and that would be negative 18. Right there, that's where I know I can stop. Because negative 4 times negative 18 is negative 22. Negative 6 times negative 12 is negative 18. There's nothing in between there that's going to add up to negative 19. What does that tell me? That this term right here is, it's prime. There is not a greatest common factor for this term. Okay? And you may come across a problem like that. That's not. These are the frustrating ones for me when I'm taking a test. Because if I make a mistake somewhere, and I figure, oh, there is nothing that adds to that and multiplies to that, and then I put it's relatively prime, and it's like, oh yeah, Mr. Flint said 1 could be relatively prime. This is one that's frustrating because you know that 1 could be on your test that might be. So just double check your work. And if you keep on trying something, you really can't find anything, then yes, that you just call that prime or relatively prime. Okay. Good. Let's go ahead and we've got one more example. So go ahead and try to factor this one out.
Okay. So for this problem, I did the x. So I figured out the factors of 72. That would also make negative 17 would add it together. And I came up with negative 9 and negative 8.
Okay, so here I've got to pause you for 1 second. That would work. That would work if the middle term, or excuse me, if the leading coefficient was 1. If we were multiplying the 72 and adding to negative 17, we could just write x times negative 9 times x times negative 8. However, what we have to do here is we have to split the middle term. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this down here, and you got the first part. You got the negative 9 and the negative 8. So what we have to do now is we have to split the middle term with the negative 9 and the negative 8. So what I want to do is I want to take this, and I'm going to split this negative 17x into negative 9x and negative 8x. And that still adds up to negative 17x. Okay, and then I'm just going to write the rest of the problem down. 2x squared plus 36. Okay, so now I've got it written like this, and now I'm going to rearrange things. I'm going to rearrange this as, because I could, well, I don't even have to rearrange it. I've got a common factor there. I've got a common factor of x. So I'm going to pull out an x, and that gives me, I'm left with 2x minus 9. And then here, on this part of the binomial, or this part of the, I guess it's a binomial if we turn it into this, I've got a common factor of, so I've got 2, 4, negative 4. I'm going to pull out a negative because I can see that I'm going to want to change this sign to a negative anyway. So, and that's going to leave me with 2x minus 9. So x. And what I'm left with then is x minus 4 times 2x minus 9. Okay. So what we're gonna move into now, instead of doing more practice problems, is I'm going to have you go to your homework that's posted. I'm going to give you time to either work on any of your homework up until this point. Okay, so if you need to, you can go into Classroom. I can pull that up real quick. You go into Classroom up here. And I can already hear people say, what happens if I'm already done with my work? Okay, and then you can either choose to go on Khan if you would like, or if you would like to go on onto what's the other one? Manga High. So, yeah, I got you. Okay, so go ahead and